Hey everyone, it's Ellie Mae, and I tackled a project this week that I wanted to share some tips with you for. This is the long version of this video, but I see often on social media where people have posted videos of their projects and weeding those projects. So I did a large 21.5-inch decal, and I time-lapse recorded the entire weeding process. So when I calculated it out, it took me a total time of 2 hours and 20 minutes to weed this design. The purpose I did was I used several different techniques and tools in this video that I wanted to share with you. So I'm just going to give some information in the beginning, and you can choose to fast forward once the music starts and watch the entire process, or there's a link in the description below for the short version of this project. But in the video, you're going to see me use several tools that I keep handy for weeding projects. And I'm really not working this fast. I'm taking my time. That is one of the biggest tips, is to take your time and to practice. So I used a pair of scissors that can help. In this case, I could not add weeding lines to my design for several reasons, but the biggest one was that this is a mandala design and it doesn't have anywhere that I could add weeding lines to it. So I had some large pieces of vinyl to begin with, and then as you see, I have much smaller pieces. So I tested and was working with several different weeding tools. Usually my go-to for the last few years has been a pair of reverse tweezers by EK Success Tools. But in this case, I started with the Caesar weeding hook, which I really like. I'm getting used to. It has a heavier handle. You saw that in the beginning of the video, and I am just using different ones for different parts. The current one I have is called a pin pen, and I use that for a while, and then as I go along, you're going to see me use different tools and in different sections. Another thing to have handy is a lint roller. You can see that I'm taking those pieces and sticking them to the lint roller, and it can be very helpful, especially for small pieces. So then I tried using a pair of tweezers. I like the EK Success Tool reverse tweezers because they not only have a sharp point, but they also have the tweezer part. But when you're working with something else, I lost a piece there. When you're working with something else, you don't always have, this pin pen, there is no tweezer part. So having tools next to you handy that for those difficult sections that just don't want to cooperate can be very helpful. And this is a design, I'll put the link in the description below for the video, but it's a design from Design Bundles, and I chose it specifically because of the size. It's not a design that I would probably recommend for cutting smaller, especially super small, because if you watch the entire video or you skip forward in the video, you're going to see that I have some sections that are very, very small circles, and they were small within this design size, so I can't even imagine cutting it at a much smaller size. And I'm just moving this around. You can't really see it in the video right now, but you will soon. I have a light. It's a magnifying light that's clamped to the table. You can kind of see the clamp in the top left corner. Having good lighting is another tip that I would suggest. Good lighting will help you see the cut lines. In this case, you can see I kind of moved it there, but you'll see it later in the video too. In this case, I kind of stole this from my husband. He ordered it for his hobbies, and I opened the package for him, and then I've been using it for several projects since then. I've probably used it more than he has, but I really started to use it in some of the smaller sections where those small circles were. That comes later in the video, but it's just been so helpful working with some very detailed weeding designs that I've been doing lately. and I just continue on through the entire project. So, having tools, you can see here, I switched tools out again. This is similar to the pen, but it's a smaller, finer point, and I actually ended up really liking this. Again, I said I usually use that EK Success reverse tweezers, but especially for large projects, I was finding that my hand was cramping. In this case, this pink sparkly pen, I don't think the pink sparkle had anything to do with it. It was just comfortable for me to use and to be able to weed all those designs out. The other thing that I have found as I do this more and more is that vinyl likes to stick to itself, which I'm sure that as you do your vinyl, you'll get to, a feel for that. So I stick it to my finger and then I just continue to pile vinyl on, and that can be helpful for me. Everybody's going to develop their own methods of doing things, and the biggest thing that I can say is that good cuts are number one. Second is practice. The third is tools. Having good tools that you are comfortable with and get comfortable with can help. And then lighting is the fourth tip. And then the fifth tip is your design. So some designs just are not good for cutting small, fine details, and you just get to know and discover that with practice. So biggest thing, cut settings and get comfortable with your tools. So I am going to turn some music on here. Feel free to watch the rest of this video or to fast forward and see that finished project. I want to thank you for joining me. Check out the description below for a blog post tutorial on more details about all these tools that I am using, that you've seen me use in the video, and all of the tips that I am sharing on the blog. Have a great day.